Hello, dear friends. You are on the Omline channel. My name is Nadia Koroleva. Let's talk about the signs in our lives that show us if we are going in the right or wrong direction. Today, we will discuss how our body and unconscious try to tell us that we are going in the wrong direction, why we oversleep important meetings or often get sick, and how to recognize if we are actually living our own life. Everything you need to know about the connection between our bodies and the signs in our lives is all in this video. Let's explore how the brain processes reality. Our brain is constantly receiving information from the surrounding energy, from space. It works like a bee. It processes terabytes of information so that we can make the right decision. And in this process, our consciousness and our unconscious play a crucial role. Our consciousness is often in a superconscious state, even if we do not fully realize it. In this state, it collects information about what is happening in the astral body and in the mental body of other people. It collects information from the future and, in its own unique way, specific to us, tries to transmit it to our brain. For example, people who are physically centered may experience physical symptoms such as feeling tired, weak, heavy in the legs, mood swings, or on the contrary, a surge of energy or euphoria. People who are emotionally centered may have sudden feelings like not wanting to talk to someone, even if that person is nice. Or when you need to talk to a relative, you somehow know that you are not really loved there. This is some intuitive knowledge. This means that your astral body, that is, your unconscious, is transmitting information to your brain. In fact, we are always receiving signs from the universe about what is happening around us and about future events that are prepared for us. And each of us has our own unique language of signs. A very important role in information processing is played by the amygdala, an ancient part of our brain responsible for the fight or flight response. The amygdala quickly analyzes the situation and helps us make the main decision: stay or run. Considering the whole flow of information that our brain collects from our consciousness, our unconscious, and our subtle bodies, etheric, physical, astral, or mental, all this turns into a mix of feelings, sensations, and knowledge that we have in our brain. Sometimes you and I receive intuitive information down to the point of something as simple as making us go and twist our ankle. So in this way, our body, having received information from all the sources that our brain processes, can cause us to twist our ankle. This means we should learn to act accordingly and make the right decisions based on all the signs we receive. For example, when you know the way home, you are walking calmly without thinking about every step, and suddenly you feel some restlessness. What does that mean? It means that there is really some danger, and it is necessary to pay attention to this intuitive, absolutely emotional signal from your astral body. Or, for example, you try to start your car, but it won't start, and you are late for a meeting. You immediately scold yourself, but this is a physical sign from our physical, material, beautiful reality telling you that you shouldn't go to that meeting or you should be delayed a little bit. Maybe there's an accident waiting for you on the way, and it's great that you were held back. Stop and think. Perhaps you really shouldn't berate yourself for the car not starting or for not finding your keys in time. The amygdala plays a key role in the decision-making process. When there is enough information, the amygdala quickly analyzes the situation and helps us make a decision. We feel confident and begin to act boldly. For example, when you know the way home, you walk calmly without thinking about every step. However, when there isn't enough information, we can become stressed and uncertain. Why does this happen? Because the brain lacks data and prepares for potential threats. The body is preparing to fight or flee. Imagine you're lost in an unfamiliar neighborhood. You become nervous and anxious because you don't know where to go. If necessary, you will be ready to either run away from people who seem dangerous to you or defend yourself if you're attacked. A simple example, imagine that you want to cook a new dish, but you don't have a recipe. At first, you feel confident because you have basic cooking knowledge, but as you start, many questions begin to arise. You start thinking, recalling past experiences, what ingredients to use, how long to cook, and so on. Without precise instructions, you start to get nervous, doubt your actions, and maybe even give up. This happens because your brain lacks information to make a confident decision. So the brain tries its best to protect us from making mistakes. That is why intuition, which constantly receives information from the environment, including what is happening, what is being prepared, and even what other people are thinking or planning to do, collects this data from our subtle bodies and tries to protect us from errors by sending signs. Let's discuss the signs that we receive as indicators from the universe of our unconscious, or from the energy information space that our body, emotions, or mind decode. Signs that show us we are going the wrong way. For example, problems with attention or memory. You may suddenly begin to notice that you constantly forget important things, you are late for meetings, you lose track of time, you can't focus. It could be a signal that you're going in the wrong direction. The second type of signs are physical symptoms. For example, you start to get sick often, feel tired, or have insomnia. This is also a sign that your goals are not aligned with your true desires. The body is reacting to internal conflict or stress. Be sure to reflect on this. The third type of signs are emotional signs. For example, a sudden or persistent feeling of anxiety or a lack of motivation. Most likely, your actions and goals are not in line with your inner needs or values. Or, for example, you are going to some meeting. From a logical point of view, you're confident that you are the right person for the task, that you should definitely go and make these negotiations. However, you are suddenly overcome by feelings of anxiety, worry, or fear, and you either don't go to this meeting or you do, but you definitely fail and get a negative result. Be sure to listen to yourself if your body is giving you these kinds of emotional signals. It means that your astral body and your unconscious are working as a kind of peculiar signaling system. Another example. You work at a job you don't like. You find it hard to get up every morning. You constantly forget important tasks, and you feel tired even after the weekend. Your body is trying to tell you that you are out of place. You start getting sick more often because your immune system becomes weakened by constant stress that you may not even be aware of, but it's happening in your unconscious. Your astral body is telling you that the environment, the atmosphere, or what you are doing is not in line with your purpose. It's a signal from your unconscious that you're going the wrong way. Why does our body react this way? The unconscious is trying to keep us from going the wrong way. Your astral body is also trying to prevent you from making a mistake. If we continue going in the wrong direction, the body starts to react with stress, increased cortisol levels, and decreased immunity. This is what we call our natural defense mechanism, designed to draw attention to our inner conflict and help us find the right path. Dear friends, if you're familiar with what I'm saying right now, then be sure to give this video a like. Dear friends, let's discuss the types of signs the universe is sending you. You probably already have your own language, your own signs, and your own system for how you feel the universe is communicating with you. The most common and popular signs nowadays come in the form of text, symbols, or numbers. For example, you are walking down the street and you have some inner dialogue. Suddenly you see a billboard or an announcement, or hear the passers-by saying something that resonates with what you're thinking at the moment. This is definitely a sign. Another common sign is repeating numbers, for example, on your phone, your watch, or somewhere on the screen. This means that what you are doing is absolutely in sync with what is happening in the universe right now, and you are in the right flow, at the right time, and in the right place. It is imperative that you pay attention to these kinds of signs. Another common kind of signs is experiencing losses or minor annoyances. When we lose our phone, forget our keys, or lose our wallet, we are bound to get upset. But let's think that this may be the release of some significant phase or piece of negative energy. More often than not, this is how we get rid of something unnecessary. It's helpful to say to yourself, "Thank you for taking the money instead of something else." Losing an object in this case can be seen as just a payback for keeping you healthy or saving you from some troubles. It is better to treat it this way. A great kind of signs is when you suddenly discover a long-lost item. This can mean it's time to reflect on or reconsider your views about the past. Maybe this thing is a reminder that it's time to reach out to someone or let go of a certain stage of your life and stop worrying or dwelling on it. Regret is a major energy vampire in our lives, and it's time to let go of the past. For example, if you find some document that you may have been searching for a long time, or one you thought you would never find, it's most likely that things are starting to align now and everything will work out very well. You should build your own language of these signs. Listen and ask a question to your higher self. Listen and ask what it might mean. And you will definitely hear an intuitive answer about what you've accidentally found. Even a coin dropped by someone can be a happy symbol that you are on the right path. The universe often sends us signs through dreams, especially recurring ones. During a dream, our consciousness is in the astral body and receives a huge amount of information about what has happened, is happening, or will happen. We only remember very important moments in the form of dreams. In fact, when we experience recurring dreams, it means that we are transported by our consciousness to the same space in the astral plane, indicating that there is some unresolved issue in our unconscious that our consciousness is trying to address. It is necessary to write down such dreams, think about them, and consider what is happening to you, who you are communicating with, and whom you are running away from. It means that the universe is sending you a sign, and your higher self is also sending you a sign because you have to think about something, to stop, to go somewhere, or not to do something. Dreams are worth listening to. Very often, karma and fate send us completely random or unexpected people into our lives. And when we meet them, we don't understand why we met them, but these very people are often the turning points in our journey. They can suggest unexpected decisions, new perspectives on things. We can really change our lives and reach the next level with these people. Therefore, pay attention to casual acquaintances and the people your destiny brings into your life. Very often we get signals in the form of accidents. You walk, slip, fall, wake up, and you're in a cast like in a famous movie. Most often we twist our ankles, stumble, or suddenly fall for some reason. It clearly means that what you are doing is not entirely in accordance with your karma or your destiny, and you may be making a mistake. Listen to yourself and reflect on how you have been living lately. Maybe you're really forcing yourself to do something, be with someone, or engage in activities you don't want or like. A sign like an accident or an accidentally sprained leg necessarily means that you have to change something in your life. Listen to yourself and stop doing what you're doing. Now, the most important signs that we sometimes think of as mystical visions: a voice in our head, seeing ghosts or seeing images of people, including deceased relatives. These experiences are not necessarily a schizophrenic disorder. In fact, by overlaying astral perception onto our physical brain, our higher self tries to convey some information directly to us. Since we cannot receive this information in any other way, we see an image which is superimposed on our reality in a clear and conscious state. This may not be a hallucination at all. It's not necessary to immediately consult a psychiatrist. Just listen to yourself and reflect on what this image is trying to convey and why you saw it at that moment. Most often it is through visions that the higher self tries to prevent us from unnecessary events or rash actions. Therefore, do not be frightened if you suddenly see a vision in real life.